Okay, well, welcome back. So this is part 2 of the video series for the installation of the Zen32 programmable screen controller. So we've replaced the existing smart switch that we had. I was using it to operate a floodlight outside, but now what I'm doing is I'm taking the switch, which now has the floodlight switch is one, the main one, and that is switching the 120 volt on and off. And then I'm also using the programmable switches that are on the screen controller to operate a string of lights that I have in the front and the back of our house, and as fountains, so I can turn on fountains in the front and fountains in the back. And then both of those device scenarios can be shut off by just holding the screen controller button down, and it'll completely shut everything off. So it's all programmed. It's not hardwired whatsoever. It all works over Z-Wave wireless network, and I'm going to be explaining how that works, and then also how the SmartThings app is programmed, to set up for routines that you can run different things during the day and at night. So anyways, I hope you enjoy the video, and if you did, please hit the like button. And if you don't enjoy it, well, please subscribe, because you might enjoy the next one. So let's get moving on to the programming. Unbox the screen controller. It's made by Zooz. It comes in a really nice box. It's kind of colorful. You can see it has different things on it here. Here's kind of a quick start. You can scan the code to register it for a warranty. If you need help, you can email them. I'm sure with this kind of thing, they probably get a lot of emails because of the programming. And then they've got some more places where you can, there's a scan on it, and we'll have to figure out what this means, the smart start. Oh, here we are, quick start. This is probably more in line what I'll be using. Scan for quick setup. So if you have a Z-Box hub, which would indicate that it's a Z-Wave, that's the type of wireless system that we're on, the network. I'm using SmartThings, so I'll have a thing for that. This one over here is Habitat. I've never heard of that one. Home Assistant comes with the user manual. Scene controller user manual. It's pretty thick too. And then here's the device in the box. Oh, it's nicely packed too in foams. Then you'll see on the back it has the name of it. It shows that it's a Z-Wave and plus LR. And then on this side, here's part of the user manual. So this is the scene controller. Just giving you kind of the rundown of what it is. It's basically the same information that's on the box. Here's some of the features. 4 remote control buttons. So those are down here. These are the 4 buttons that we're going to be working with. So it's the 800. So it's called an 800 LR. So that's the chip. So this is the chip that they use for the Z-Wave. Gives better range and faster control. And so if you aren't familiar with what Z-Wave is, so that's a local network, and the frequency is different than your wireless, and it doesn't go onto the internet from here. It has to go through a hub. So you have a hub that kind of think of it as a gateway between a device and whatever it's whatever it's communicating with, and then the device is local, so it's it can communicate with other Z-Wave devices. But the idea behind the Z-Wave is it's much more reliable. You won't get, like with the internet, sometimes you'll lose service. A local area network where you're running wireless. I think they call it a WAN, W-L-A-N. And then this is Z-Wave for long range, so it has ultra reliability. Doesn't need mesh communication, which means it doesn't have to have other controllers nearby to promote the signal, farther along. Then it's smart bulb mode. Not really sure what that's about. It says disable the relay and control light via Z-wave. So it's adjustable LED indicator. So we can work with that. Here's some security stuff. Here's the smart start for easier inclusion. So this is probably just automatically programs it to whatever system that you're working with. And I'm using SmartThings, so they may have already incorporated that into the programming. And then here's the specifications again, so we can go through that installation. Caution, some more warning labels. They just want you to be careful. It's an electrical device. Then here's how you add the device to the Z-Hub. So you got to have a hub. This isn't going to go connect to the internet. It's going to have to go through a hub with this has its program. So I'm using the SmartThings. I've already got the hub for SmartThings, and I've got quite a few lights that are hooked up to that already. So I'm really familiar with SmartThings, and I've had the hubs probably for the SmartThing hub for might be going on 10 years. I've replaced the hub, but the current one's different, but I've been using it for about 10 years. And then the tap switch is, okay, so tap the switch button 3 times quickly. This is the pairing mode. And still, again, if you need some help, they give you lots of ways to do it. They tell you to pick out which system you're working with. So here they only give you 3, whereas with the other one you had 4 different ones. So they've eliminated the Z-Hub as the Z-Box hub. Get a switch, so you can try different things. It doesn't pair, including resetting everything, which you probably don't want to do unless you absolutely have to. And then as we get down to the bottom here, they talk about factory reset. That's something that you can do. Okay, here's programming. So we're going to have to go through all these programming things. Now this is the part where I don't understand is how it works. So this switch does a lot of different things, and you could press the top switch, so you get the top button, and you tap that once, and it may turn on or off the light load because it's connected, but maybe if you press and hold it, it'll do something else. So then it says, or you could set it for association group. So I think this is the one where you could bypass the relay, but for our installation I want that switch to be able to come on and off, and I want to be able to control it from my SmartThings app. So because I have a motion sensor that's hooked up that I run through SmartThings, and this will operate a floodlight. And then these ones down here, I'm going to make this fountains. So I have 3 fountains, one in the front, one in the back. And I might do fountains front, fountains back. And then we've got some string of lights that we put in. So string of lights front, string of lights back. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just do all fountains, all lights, and then maybe all off. So 3 things. So I have to play around with that a little bit, decide how to program it. And then you could do a program where you have all lights on, so you could press the button and it'll turn everything on. So it's like a scene control. So what do you want the scene to look like? Then this just describes more about the product, and then this is an important part of it, ETL certified. And I'm pretty sure ETL stands for Edison Testing Laboratory, and it's just like UL, Nationally Recognized Testing Laboratory. So that's an important phrase whenever we read the testing laboratory stuff, and so that it meets a certain standards for the United States. And then they've got the warranty information. So it's warranted for 1 year, just the way it is. It's a limited warranty. You could get an extended 5-year warranty once it's registered. And they don't say if that's free. Maybe when you register, you get a free 5-year warranty. And I probably won't do that because I don't really worry about it too much. It's not that expensive. Maybe if you had it installed by somebody, you'd probably want to get it warranted. And then it lists some other things. This is about the warranty down here, and the limitations, I think, is probably what they put on there. They're not going to cover everything. But anyways, that's it for the manual. Now that that part is complete, you can go out and turn the breaker back on, energize the switch, and we're going to move to programming. Programming I just do on my phone. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate from my screen recorder here. So I'm using screen recorder, and I'm going to demonstrate how I load the program for the ZEN32 switch. So the first thing that I did, and I've already put it in, but I'm going to go back through everything. So the first thing I did was I went to this SmartThings QR code, and I entered that, and it tells you how to add your Zen screen controller to SmartThings. So this really gives you the instructions on how you do it, step by step. So tap the plus icon on the home screen, tap the device, tap scan QR code, so we can do all that. On the SmartThings app, select the hub and room you'd like the device to be added to. So in our case, we've only got one hub, so we don't have to worry about that, but we do want to put it outside, so there is a room for outside. When the app says get your device ready to connect, click the main switch button on the device 3 times very quickly. Okay. A few seconds later, the app will display a new device on the screen. Click Done. Okay, now if the above QR code method isn't working, you can give the below process a try. So this is tap the plus icon button on the home screen, tap device, scan nearby. While the app says scanning, click the main switch button 3 times. Okay, so that activates the pairing request. And then the app will indicate when the device connects to edit. Okay, but see, now there's something really important here that they don't talk about on this one, at least. You have to download the you need to download the driver onto SmartThings. And so there was a link to download the driver, and I'm not sure where it is at. Showing here, easy steps, instructions can be the instructions. Controller, let's see if there's new instructions. How to access advanced settings. Okay, so this is taking care of the what you'll see on the screen. So we can do that. Installation. So the device already included. Drivers can now be manually assigned to a device. So this is where you get your driver. Okay, first follow the instructions in the list in the section below to install the driver. Then go to the device page, clicking on the device title. Click the 3 dots at the top corner. Select driver. Select different driver. So this is explaining how you add the driver to the SmartThings. So you have to have a invitation. So it'll say here, click the Zoo channel invitation link here. Now it links with the SmartThings, and you give it a permission to access your SmartThings account, and then they'll download the driver onto that. So it's all done on the internet, this part of it. So it isn't really done through your phone. You're actually taking from one cloud, or stored on a server somewhere, and you're just moving the file over to your SmartThings application so that you can operate this ZEN32 switch. Otherwise, there's no drivers for it. It won't even recognize it. So you got to put that in first. So enter your drivers. So you'll have to go through these. Start with the QR code scan, and then go into the instructions and look for where it says to the invitation. So I did all that, and then so we've got the driver already installed. So I'm not going to show you that process, but we'll go to the SmartThings, and I'll show you how I did this. Okay, so here's my SmartThings application. So in this, I have all the devices that I've ever had. So all devices. We have a couple different screens we can look at. One's just got favorites. So for right now, I put the fountains and the string of lights on here because I'm thinking, well, I might have to turn those on and off if I see it come on or something when it's not supposed to be on. But so far, it hasn't been a problem. And then, so that's the favorites. And then you've got all your devices here. And then this includes unused devices. So there's a lot of stuff that's not being used. It's kind of offline. Batteries have been disconnected or whatever. I got a kitchen. I've got some lights in there. And that's run through Lutron. So Lutron switching for the kitchen. And I needed to do the automation there because we wanted to be able to dim those lights. So I went ahead and got a Lutron dimmer. I can dim them. I can dim the lights from this SmartThings app, so I can sit here and dim it. Now these lights won't color change or anything because Lutron is just switching. Okay, and then I've got network. So on my network, I've got a thermostat. This is an Ecobee, and so it gives me a lot of readings off of that. And I can use the thermostat settings to control other things if I want. I can say, oh, when the temperature on the thermostat gets to a certain temperature, and I can tell it to do something else. Like I'm going to connect, I've got a ceiling fan that I want to connect into the SmartThings so that when it gets to a certain temperature in that room, the fan will come on and blow a little heat down from the ceiling to try to give us a little air ventilation there. Because it does get hot on one side. Then I'll be in my living room. So I've got a cathedral ceiling with lights that go all the way to the top on one side. But anyway, so this is living room stuff right here. And I've got my office. So like I have a receptacle of this smart plug. And I shut off all the office equipment. I don't want this stuff running at night. So I turn that all off with that on a timer. So I put it on a timer, and then Emotion sets it off to turn it back on in the daytime. So it doesn't really need to run unless I'm here. So I put it on a motion sensor. And then here's my studio light, so I can turn that on and off. You might be able to see the difference in the lighting when I turn off the light. So there we go. A little bit for the studio light. It's just lighting the ceiling, basically, is what that one does. Studio light. So now this one, it says no room assigned, so there must be an extra to do the same thing. Yeah, it appears to do the same thing. So what do we got? I've got two of them. Okay, so why don't we get rid of one of these? Remove it. Remove. Okay. And then we had a light in the pantry. That's not really working anymore. That's gone. So I was sitting up here, but I don't see it anymore. Anyways, so that's it for just the kind of the device area. And then you got another thing that's just life. So this could be an energy, so you can add an appliance. So this SmartThings is Samsung. So it's made by Samsung, and you can put Samsung appliances in here. So if you got a refrigerator or washer or something, you can monitor that energy usage and stuff from there. We don't have any Samsung. I have LG, but no Samsung. And it doesn't. They're not compatible with each other. But anyways, but if you did have Samsung, this would be an app to have. And then air care, and then clothing care, and different things. You can monitor at home. And then there's access, smart lock. Yes, we don't use any of that. And I do have cameras, but I use UV for the cameras. So I don't really run it through the app. But the SmartThing app for me is particularly more of a timer. So it's just for timing or motion, set something off. And so we can put in routines where the lighting will shut off at a certain time at night. Or I'll kill the stereo at 10 o'clock, so it's not running all night long, something like that. Stereo and office, you can see that up here on this one. And then this is the routine. See where it says routines? So this is the routine menu. So I'm on that tab, routines. And then what it does in here for routines, these are like recipes. So they're you do a recipe to do certain things within the routine. So you want to have the scene controller. So basically what I've got is for that switch out back. I have a switch 1 back deck turn off. So this is the screen controller. It's this back deck, so it's the floodlight switch. Now it doesn't say screen controller on here anymore, but it was at first screen controller. But it made more sense to me to put floodlight on there. So when the back deck, we want to turn it off. So if this is interlocks program, so interlock logic, I guess you'd call it. It's kind of a program. So we're doing an if. So if the string of lights in the back are on, I don't want the floodlight coming on because it's really annoying to have a floodlight flashing on and off while you've got guests and stuff. So the whole purpose of having the outside lights on a string was so that when we have guests over or something and we're sitting out back, there's a good ambient lighting. It makes a really nice light that way, you know, for entertaining and stuff. So we'll often have dinners and people will come over and it'll be dark and they'll hang out for a while outside. So that one, will switch that on and off. Now here's one that I say, okay, so the motion sensor, which is, you've seen it in the picture probably, is sitting up above the door. It actually sits above the floodlight. And that's a programmable motion sensor, so it's runs through the app. So what it'll tell me is if I have motion on the outside motion sensor and the string of lights are off. So see, this is, and then also we've set it for time too. So at certain times of the day, 20 minutes before sunset or 20 minutes after sunrise. So what that's saying is that this will only operate during those time periods, so at night, so whenever it's dark. So when it's dark, we want the motion sensor to come on. Motion sensor's detected some movement. Well, if the string of lights are off, then the motion sensor will turn on the floodlight. So it operates the 120 volt rated switch that's inside of the ZEN32 controller. So it turns that, there's a little relay in there, it's just hitting the relay, turning it on, makes the light, gives it power to that light. And the light's dumb, you know, it's just a on-off thing, and it has a photocell built into it, but it doesn't have like any logic or anything on the light. There's no motion or anything like that. It's just two floodlights there. But anyways, so when that comes on, then it can turn it off after 10 minutes. So you can do that. So what we did here was we took this add. I can cancel. I didn't show you how to add the device. So what I did was from devices, I go in here and we say add device. And you can scan the QR code that's on the front of the box. So you can see I could scan that and it'll give me from the scan, you know, it picks it up and it's processing it. So it gives it all the information to look for that device. So it says to prepare your device. Now that's where you go and you click it 3 times. So I've already done all this, so I'm just going to skip through that. But that's how you add it. So we want to exit this. And another way that you can add it is go through the partners device here, because it's not a Samsung, it's going to be something else. So these are all the partner devices that can be run through the Samsung app. So I mean, it's pretty intensive list of stuff that you can add and control and stuff. So this is the main reason why I got this, was because it was pretty thorough as far as what it would work with. And pretty much works with just about everything. There's actually, I don't know if they do it anymore, but they used to have a list. What works with SmartThings. Okay, and then so we could come down here to the Zooz. And then here again, it's got the you can scan the QR code, and you can add it without a QR code. Then it just search for the device, and if you can't find your device, oh, what came up? I was telling us still searching for devices. Could add these 2 things, but I don't think we need to do that. Not right now. Okay, well, so what kind of device do you want to add? So we could go to the switch, and but it doesn't list the ZEN32 switch in here. So we had to do this differently. We use the QR code, QR code did this smart start, and so they just automatically just loaded it for me. It wasn't that hard. So I used the scan, and then I was able to load that. So then once we've got it loaded, I went in and let me find that one. Devices in the living room. So we are in outside. Okay, it's unused. Outside devices. So here we are. In the outside. Okay. So the one that I call it was, I renamed it. So I renamed it from, it was called a screen controller, but I renamed it to backdoor floodlight because that's basically what it's turning on and off. So right now it's off. And it just gives me, I could put a timer on it if I wanted to. But I'm doing that with the programming, so I don't really need to do it in here. And then it just tells you what you can set your buttons up for. So the first big button is the large one, and the red. And then I did it with a red LED because I wanted to just, if I see it on, I can see that, you know, why is that on or something, I don't know. And then LED on went on for that one, and then button 1, it's in standby mode, so it's running from the programming, and then it just gives you a color option, so you can turn it on in blue, and you could say how bright you want the LED brightness, so you can set that. And I put those to always off, so basically all it's doing is when you press the button, it's going to give you a light, indicator light, when you press it, and that's it. So it doesn't stay on or anything. It was it didn't function the way that you would think. It doesn't know when something is on. I mean, it's just sending a signal to turn it on. So it doesn't really work like a light that would tell you if that was on or not. But that was what I used it for. So my main purpose is to be able to have a control area that is not on a phone. It can be done locally. We can turn on and off those fountains. So there's 3 fountains that we turn on and off. 2 in the back, 1 in the front, and then the lights, the string of lights, that turn those on and off. So that's the main convenience for this whole setup. Plus, I already had most of the plugs. I had the smart plugs. I've had them for years. They're so old that they barely work with this system. But you know, I don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money on it. So that's why I went that route. I might have done something different. It was just put a little switch out there, you know, turn them on and off. But this is very convenient, and you'll be able to set up timers and stuff. So for example, all right, so this is all my outside. This is all the stuff that's operating that switch. So starting at the top, I can turn off the outside outlet. So if I want to turn that stuff off, I can just hit that. Or this is actually going to be a timer or something. So at 10:01 p.m. every day, it's going to shut off the string of lights. It's going to shut off the fountains in the back, fountains in the front. So all 4 of those items are getting shut off from this program. So that's a timer. Okay, then switch back, turn off. So this one too is this is the one. If the string of lights are on in the back, then it shuts off the floodlight. So that's a kind of a loop type of program that as long as the string of lights are on, that floodlight stays off. So we want to have that there, like I explained earlier. Then here's one for the motion, and then of course here's a setting for to run the string of lights in the back, turn on. So this is only from sunset to sunrise every day. We can run this back from the screen controller. It says backdoor floodlight, but it's the screen controller. You can press this number 2 button, press it 2 times, and it turns on the lights in the back. So 2 presses, boom, boom, light comes on. Very nice. It's very simple. So I have those programs all through here. And then here's one for outside fountains. I could turn that off from that button. So I got fountain buttons, button number 1. If I hold that button, boom, hold it for like 3 seconds, it goes solid, it'll turn off both of the fountain smart plugs. So I can turn on either one of them by pressing either once or twice. And so I had to set up a separate program for each thing. So say I wanted to turn on back fountain, outside, fountain back, turn on. Okay, so I have to turn that on. I press the first button. I'm pressing it twice for the back, and that'll turn on the fountain in the back. So this is it's showing here the then. That's the smart plug. So OL-3 fountain's back is going to be our controller for the outside fountain. So from there I got 2 fountains hooked up. So I can do that all from this app, so it works really good. So it's just a matter of just kind of thinking about the program. You got to kind of trial and error sometimes on things if you want special stuff to take place. But other than that, I mean, it's very simple to operate. I found it was really pretty easy, actually. I had no issue with it whatsoever as far as you know, adding the program, and it took a little bit of time. And actually, I could install the switch much faster than I could add the program. But this worked pretty good. So I mean, I highly recommend it if somebody's doing something where they need some automation to look into the SmartThings app. And that, you know, the hub's maybe $100, and then the app doesn't cost anything. You know, and then any of the devices that you buy, if you're going to do smart light bulbs, you know, you could buy those pretty inexpensively. But I use, for this lighting, I've used the Hughes or Philips Hue system. And I kind of like those because the light's really high quality and the controller works really well. So you got another hub that you're working with. So now you got to have a Philips hub for that. So I have a hub for that one. I got a hub for the Lutron lighting. So there's another hub that we got to operate. And then even for the exterior cameras, there's a hub for the cameras too. So everybody's on their own network, separately operating. And I think it's probably all Z-Wave. I don't know what the cameras would run on. I don't think they're wireless, you know, like a internet type protocol, but they are wireless. So I guess that's going to be it.
Okay, so here we are back at the switch. You'll see that the top switch, when I press that, I'll get a red light. It stays solid to let me know that the outside light is on. That's the only one that'll stay solid. The other switches aren't designed that way. Now down here, I've got it labeled for fountain. So this is a fountain switch. And if I press it once, it'll give me one flashlight. And this is a blue light, and it'll indicate that the fountain is on in the front. If I press it twice, I get 2 lights, and the 2 lights will indicate that the fountain is on in the back. Over here, if I do the light switch, press that once, I get 1 flash. That's for front lights. Press it twice, I get 2 flashes for back lights. Now, if I want to turn off lights, just hold that until that light goes solid. That clears everything. Same with the fountains. Hold that until it's solid. It clears everything. Okay, so that wraps up the part 2 of the ZEN32 scene controller switch installation. In the first part, I explained how to install the switch, dealing with the hardwiring. So it's a hardwire installation. And then the first part 2, we go over the programming. We went through how the switch is integrated with the SmartThings app, and how I can program from SmartThings to do routines with it to turn on and turn off devices. And so I think that pretty much covers it for the switch, anyways, switch installation. And if there was something that I missed or you'd like to hear more about, you know, please leave it in the comments down below, and I'll try and pick that up when I can, and add a video or something, or reply to your comment. I'll try to help you out. But if nothing else, if you liked the video, please hit the like button. And if you didn't like it, well, I'll consider subscribing because maybe you'll like the next one. So anyways, this is it's going to be it. This is RB signing off.